What's up, everyone? Andrew Lawler with Dirt Rider here, and we have a 2020 KTM 350 XCF we're testing today. At least that's what Jay tells me it is. Jay, this looks more like a GasGas, man, but you turned it into a GasGas.
Yeah, it was, we had this bike. It had like 44 hours on it, and it had kind of been beat up. It had been owned by a couple different buddies, and it's been seen. I'm like, hey, we can fix this thing up. And so when I pulled the engine out to get Jamie at Twisted to go through the engine for me, I figured, let's just paint the frame red. And San Diego Powder Coating does the exact red. They do it for the race team bikes, the ones you see bar show racing. They use the same red right here. And San Diego Powder Coating in Southern California does a great job with that. And so I went ahead and had it painted while it was down. I figured might as well. And then I just kind of went all out, just made the ultimate, EX 350 now. The only thing left from this being a KTM is the hour meter, as you saw. So I left the orange hour meter, and as you can see, it's got the black triple clamps here, the billet clamps, and that's a giveaway that it was a KTM with that and the hour meter. And to convert it to a GasGas, it's really not, with a Husky, you can't do this, easily at all, really, but with a GasGas, it's just switching the tank. That allows you to run the shrouds. So we switch, and since we were going to make it into a more of an off-road bike, we put the larger IMS tank, and we got the UFO plastic, just the red GasGas plastic, and we're able to make it, convert it all. And then we give it a very unique look with Decal Works making these, we call it a little bit Ronald McDonald graphics going on. So it's been pretty fun.
Absolutely. So yeah, tell me a bit more about some of the aftermarket parts you put on this thing. I see we have a spring conversion here in the fork, correct?
So of course, I do like the stock air forks. They're pretty good, but I got the luxury of being able to kind of do even better. And Factory Connection we've done a couple sets with them and with some other companies, and we did this KYB conversion. Technical Touch sells this conversion kit that Factory Connection installs, and it's pretty awesome. I can't argue with that. Although if you're limited on funds, I think the stock air fork can be made to work really well, and FC's done some really good air fork stuff for us. It's been fine. So, but since we had the luxury, we were able to do that. And back when it was a KTM, so he has these red caps. So it just worked out that I converted it to red anyways. So it worked out really well. So, and when the engine was apart, we went ahead and went through there, and Jamie went through and ported it. We left it stock bore. I've done some big bore ones. We wanted to leave it stock bore. Got the Wiseco Racer Elite piston in there, and in the engine. And we went through and got our Hinson clutch set up. So it's all kind of really strong and bulletproof. And then while it was apart, Sano Metal Finishing did some cool vapor blasting and Cerakoting on some of the pieces of the engine, so that would look all good, because actually the water pump was all scraped up, so we got that all cleaned up, looking good. And then when we assembled this thing, got a P3 skid plate on this thing for protection. We got some flag handguards on here, because we are going to ride this thing on the track and trail. And I might put wraparounds when I go to the tougher stuff, but for the most part, that's it. And then Jamie put a Vortex ignition in this, and he mapped it on the dyno for the Vortex, and it works really well, and power is pretty dang good. And we got an 18-inch rear wheel, of course, and Bulletproof Designs has these wheels that are pretty good. And of course, Pro X chain and sprockets, got the O-ring chain on there. Dunlop AT81 front, and then an MX33 we put on there for today, just because it's kind of a cool off-road tire in that 18-inch size, and you can ride it on the track and the trail, and works pretty dang good. And then of course, to add to our graphic look, we got the Moto Seat did a custom seat cover to match the graphics. The ODI bars, I really like this bend and the Champ bend, and of course the grips, really nice. I really enjoyed the lock-on grips, and it's so much easier installing. Life is just a whole lot better. We got the Scar foot pegs, and I think it's really it. Oh, the frame guards. A lot of people ask about those because they cover so high up. A lot of guys write me and ask about that. And UFO has those, and they're for a Husky, actually a 20, like the new generation Husky. It has those, and UFO is going to have them in red soon. We've been working on that, so we'll hopefully have those soon.
Absolutely. And then rims, spokes, and hubs?
All complete from Bulletproof. They do it all complete. And then we take out the backfire screen, and we run a 2-stroke air filter cage with our uni filter. And then of course the FMF exhaust. And we just got, like the stainless exhaust with an aluminum muffler here. Good, cost-wise, a really good option.
Absolutely. And brakes are aftermarket too, correct?
Yes, we do. We do have Galfer brakes, front and rear. We got an oversized front, and we got the Galfer pads as well. We got the stock lines on there, which have been good. And we, of course, while it was apart, we bled, you know, the clutch and both brakes. We bled those, flushed them out with new fluid. So this thing's all good to go, new. While it was apart, we had ICW strengthen up the radiator, so we don't have to run any radiator braces. And this thing's like a new bike, and it's gonna be a fun bike for us for quite a while. We think this is kind of the ultimate bike for most guys. If you have to buy one bike, a 350 XCF is great because it has the wider ratio tranny, works great on the track or the trail. The bike works really well. It comes with a kickstand, which you just strap it up here when you're on the track. You just put that little rubber strap on there and go at it on the track, and you have a great time.
Absolutely. Well, very cool. Well, hey, I am super excited to ride this bike. It looks incredible. And yeah, we'll put some time on this and get back to you guys a little later. All right, so we just finished riding Jay's 2020 KTM 350 XCF on the trails and vet track here at Cahuilla Creek. And man, what a fun time this bike was. On the trails where we started the bike, the first thing I noticed was the fork. The KYB spring conversion kit by Factory Connection is incredible. The stock forks on this bike are okay. They're maybe not as great as a spring fork like this, but it's not really until you ride this, which today was my first time riding the KYB spring conversion. I've obviously ridden the Yamaha and the Kawasaki, which come with a similar fork internals anyway. And this is just incredible. The amount of comfort is just phenomenal. And Jay had mentioned it's right around $2,000, which is a little steep, obviously, but if you have the cash, I think it might be well worth it because the comfort and the plushness that can be found with this is fantastic. Super pumped on it. As far as the engine goes, this bike kept the stock 350 XCF's super linear power delivery. I love that Jay was able to hold on to that for this bike because it's just super easy to ride, really easy to manage, especially when you're on the motocross track or the more wide open areas out on the trails. It's just super predictable. But I would say slightly better throttle response and a little more torque feel throughout the RPM range. Not a huge difference, but definitely enough that I was happy. In the more technical areas, it was a bit easier to keep the bike running and to keep it from stalling. So all in all, the engine package is definitely a noticeable improvement over stock, and I was really pumped on it. Another cool feature on this bike is the TrailTech fan. When we first started riding, we were out on the trails in some pretty tight technical stuff and obviously doing photos and videos. And it dawned on me after a while, I was like, oh shoot, I better be careful that the bike doesn't overheat. And right when I thought that, the fan kicked on. So that's a really cool feature, especially if you're riding some tight technical trails and your bike won't overheat. So thanks to Jay Clark for allowing us to test his 2020 KTM 350 XCF here that has been essentially turned into a GasGas EX 350F. We had a blast riding it. We look forward to the next one. So thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed watching this video and you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to check out the full story on dirtrider.com, and we'll see you next time.